Alright guys, how you all doing? We are setting up because I've not worked out how to save the scene set up on TikTok yet. But while we're here, I can close that down, can't I? I can make that a little bit bigger. Drop that up a bit. A little bit more. Okay. And that needs to come down a bit. Slightly. Okay. Is that everything there? No, still need a little bit. Yes, so we can lock that one. No, it's still a little bit short, isn't it? Hang on, let's unlock everything. Bash, 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 bash. Okay, let's move that out of the way. Let's move that out of the way. Oh, this is for... Camera. Let's get the camera on. Don't know why we haven't got the... Oh, no. Yes, basically, I want to go through the traxler. So we're going to do that today. And it's all casual, laid back. So this is the book I use. Hang on, the camera's not even set up yet. Why isn't the camera up? So I have to add a source. Camera, show. There we go. So, unlock that. Let me just drop that down. That's it. There's the badger. Okay. So, we don't need all of the room, do we? We just have a bit. Okay, so we're just going to go through the traxler. This is a fantastic book. If you can see that, The Two Knights Defense, and it's by Jan Pinsky. Sacred to me, sacred. And the reason being is I've got another one here, Two Knights Just For Now. This is £5 from a chest, David Levens. This will take you to about the old 150 ECF grade, so it's about, I don't know, 1600, 1700 level. But this one, the Sacred Holy Grail, it's got, on the Two Knights, you've got the Fritz variation. Hi darling. Alright, we're back. Sorry about that. So there are various variations. The Fritz variation, the main line, the Traxler Gambit. Hang on. Okay, we're back. Sorry, phone calls and everything. So, let me just raise that slightly. That's it. No, we're gonna have to make it a little bit smaller. There we go. That's better, isn't it? Slightly off there. Let me just do this then. Hold on. Right, it's got to be perfect. Okay. Right. So, traxler. 4 bishop g5, bishop c5, bishop knight g5, bishop c5. Yeah. So let me just go back to the setup. So e4, e5, knight f3, knight c6, bishop c4, bishop c5. And it's a slightly different move order here. So, sorry, bishop c4, knight f6, knight g5, and then it's bishop c5. My apologies, sorry. This enterprising sacrifice, often a rook, was first played by Czech player K. Traxler in the 1890s. Everybody, 1890s. Over a century later, not much has changed. If you want to play bishop c5 as black, you must be good at tactics and have a good memory. White has 3 serious moves at his disposal here. d4. Yeah. So we've got d4. Okay, striking at the centre, trying to dislodge the e5 pawn. We've got d4. We've got knight takes f7, which is now the more frequent move as opposed to bishop takes f7 check. Reason being is there's more chance of the activity attacking the queen and the rook with the knight. So only the last move gives white a real chance for an advantage, but I mean, it says bishop, but the book says bishop, but a lot of the players have played the knight move. So let me have a look at Weir Smith's. Yeah, there was a time when knight takes f7 check. Sorry, knight takes f7 was thought to be the principal move. Now it is clear that the position is very complicated and white should be very careful. Right. It is perhaps playable in correspondence chess or after long and hard preparations, say for example 100 blitz games in addition to independent analysis. So if we go knight takes f7, I was playing it down Haberley Chess Club, so big shouts out to Haberley Chess Club in Kidderminster last night. We was there and I was playing a chap called Ben, and my opponent Ben took, and I didn't take, I just played quietly and went king f1 because I just, you know, it was casual chess and I was just like completely forgotten. So they've gone here, knight takes king e3, or an additional to this, let's add one more line, is king g1, and then that's what we play. Queen h4, this, knight takes this, queen takes g3, king f1. That's the line that I'm familiar with, but it completely gone out the window last night. So we went knight takes f7, and then he went bishop takes, and then we went king f1. And then it's, I think, what did he do then? He went here and I went here. Did he go d5? I think he did. No, actually, I think he took here. I had queen h5 check. No, he didn't. He can't have done that. I think he went d5. Did I take? and then he came in here. That's right. And then I attacked here like this. Bishop. Did I go check here? But yeah, you see where I'm getting at. You've got to learn the prep for this and be comfortable. So we went here. Weir Smith's email game 1994. That's what it says in the book. I don't know if you can see that. If I can just get that up. Can you read that? You can't. The camera's on. I've got to change the settings on the camera. Let's try and just put it on a normal background then. Settings. Now here we go. Effects. Reset. Apply. Sorry about this, guys. Setting. Effects. Background. Original. There we go. Let's apply that. I'll put it back in a bit. So Weir Smith's, it's back to front, but it says email. If you can read that, it's a bit blurred, but email. Right. So I'm gonna put that background back on. Settings. Background. There we go. Apply. Right, so we're back. So this game is 1994 and knight takes f7. And we were just explaining preparation is the key for this move. Bishop takes f2, check, straight to the point, nothing else makes sense. The alternative to king takes f2 is considered in game 27. The main idea of the traxler account, ignoring white's forward, black aims to gain tons of space on the board and move all their pieces out to attack the wide open king. Impressively, black will be able to gain their lost material if played correctly. White can capture king takes f2, but black more easily be able to launch a counter attack, starting with knight takes e4. Thus, experienced players prefer king f1, but we'll do the book. Knight takes e4, king to g1. Black plans to bring their queen out with queen h4 next move. Yeah. To avoid any danger, move out of the open file. White has two sensible options: king g1 or king e3. So we went king g1. Book says king g1. Enormously complicated is king to e3, after which black has two possibilities. So if we look at king e3, queen e7, and then c3, d5, and not queen c5, d4, e takes d4, c takes d4, queen e7, and then rook e1, rook f8, king f3, d5, bishop takes d5, and then bishop g4 check. King takes g4, knight to f2 check, king to g3, knight takes d1, capturing the queen, bishop takes c6, check, b takes c6, and then rook takes e7, check, king takes, knight to e5, and white wins. I mean, look at the possibilities here. What's their next move? King e6 it's saying, and then we've got knight to d2. Can we play bishop f4 maybe? They've got g5. What's wrong with taking? King to g4, 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 king to Oh, I see. Yeah. Okay. So that's a particular line. So if we go back to move 9. E3. So if we go back to Queen E7, A1 is C3, D5, and then if we've got Bishop takes D5, Queen C5 check, D4, or you've got King takes E4, and then you've got Bishop F5 check. And then obviously if we take the bishop, they get the bishop there, and then look how far the king's out on F5 in 12 moves. Come on. So if bishop takes D5, Queen C5 check, D4, Queen takes D5, Knight takes E5, D4, Queen takes D5, Knight takes E5, Knight to F6, and Knight F3, good move. What about Knight takes C6? It says in brackets, Queen E4 check, King F2, Knight G4 check, King G3, black castles, good move, and then Rook F1, Rook takes F1, Queen takes F1, Queen takes C6 with an attack, Palkovi. Okay, so instead of move 12, what's it saying? Brackets, dot dot dot, Knight F3, it's saying instead of Knight to F3, oh yeah, so if we go black with an attack, move 12, Knight F3, saying if we go Knight F3, that's saying black castles now. And then you've got Queen B3, Bishop E6, Queen takes D5, Queen takes D5, Knight G4 check, King to E4, Knight to F2 check, King E3, Knight G4, and the game would end in an attractive perpetual check. So if you go back again to D4, Queen takes D5, Knight takes E5, Knight to F6, Knight to F3, so Queen to E4 check, just going over that again, Knight to F3, King to F2, Knight to G4 check, King to G3, castles, Rook F1, oh sorry, that was the brackets, beg your pardon. So yeah, Knight to F3, where's the closed brackets? So yeah, knight to f3, castles, queen b3, bishop e6, queen takes d5, knight check. What happens if we go here then? And then what? Yeah. So let's go here. This is the perpetual. So let's go back to move 8. So instead of c3, it's saying, and line here a2. Instead of the A1 line will start c3 d5, the line for a2 is knight takes h8, which is pretty much what I play because it prevents that line where we've castled and all that malarkey's gone on. And knight critical in brackets, queen g5 check. If 8d5, if 8d5, queen h5 is strong. Okay, so it's knight to h8, queen g5 check, king takes e4, d5 check, bishop takes d5, bishop f5, king f3, bishop g4, king f2, bishop takes c6 check, b takes c6, rook to d1, queen to h5, threatening queen takes h2, rook f1, good move, queen takes h2, d3, castle long, knight to d2, followed by knight f3, followed by knight f3, and then bishop e3. So it's minus 5.7. White has good chances of consolidating. So it's the 2 rooks and an extra knight, as opposed to the queen and bishop. But black's still minus 5.7. So that was line, going back to move 8, knight takes h8. What's another one? So we've got a2, then you've got 7. So let me go back. So let me go to, hold on. Instead of knight takes h8, queen 7, move 7. Let's go back to move 7, queen e7. So if 7, black number move 7, black's move to number 7, queen h4 is very interesting and can be analysed very deeply. First of all, white only has one move, which is g3, which I've played this line. Ben Feingold from America, he played this US master, US champion, and he was, the video is on YouTube, check it out, Ben Feingold, traxler variation, and the moves he was saying, he was playing his opponent, the moves were instantaneous. So it just goes to show, and that game became a draw then. But Ben was saying his opponent was just doing the moves without, just automatically. So the only move, knight takes g3 then, after g3 for white's only move. Because, I mean, you got rook f1 and it's minus 3.3, so g3, it's nothing in it. So h takes, knight takes, h takes, and then queen d4 check, king f3, and then black castle. This is the line that bend castles here, and then you've got rook h4, and then, I mean, what happens if you do this? You've got check, and then you've got bishop takes f7. Oh yeah, sorry, I've missed that. It's this, isn't it? And then we go to f2. Yeah, it's pretty much, there's a perpetual that ends up in this line. But anyway, so queen to d4, and then if king f3, then b1 10. So black castles now. Yeah, this is very risky, but after all, chess is only a game. Queen h4, e4 check, rook takes e4. Perhaps better is king g2 transposing to d5. So let's have a look at that. King to g2, d5, and then you've got got knight e5 check. No, that's wrong. So instead of d5, you've got e4 check, e4 check, e4 check, and then we've got rook to h4, e4 check, rook takes e4, knight e5 check. There's the badger. Knight e5 check, rook takes e5, queen c, queen takes c4, king to g2. Okay, it says if 14 rook f5, rook takes f7, rook takes f7, queen takes f7. I think this is the perpetual. No, it's not. g6. Sorry, b6. We play d4 now. Bishop b7 check. d5 to block. Bishop takes check. d5 check, sorry. King to g1. Bishop f3, attacking the queen. Queen f1. Queen h5, and then black wins. So that's one line. Okay, so let's just rewind that back to move 7. So instead of queen h4, which we've just looked at, which was actually played in this game, there's g3, knight takes g3, and then you've got knight. The only move now they're saying is knight takes h8, otherwise the black rook will live. So in Chateauneuf-Garin in 1973, black won in the game with this line. So g3, knight takes, h takes g3, queen takes g3 check. Hang on, sorry. Oh, this is if we go to king g1 after the knight takes e4 check. So knight, king to g1. My apologies. And then queen h4, and then g3, and then this, and then queen to g3 check. King f1. There we go. Rook f8. Queen h5. d5. Gives black an overwhelming attack. For example, bishop takes d5. Knight to b4. Bishop back to c4. b5. Bishop b3. Or bishop b5 check in brackets. c6. Bishop c4. Knight to d5. Bishop takes d5. C takes d5, and black wins. So let me just rewind to move 11. d5. And it was in, or 14, bishop b5. Okay, 12 for example. Okay, so bishop takes d5, knight to b4. Bishop c4, b5, bishop b3, and then 15, there's the closed brackets, knight takes c2, sorry. Whoa. Bishop b3, knight takes c2, d4, bishop b7, queen takes e5 check, queen takes queen, d takes queen, knight takes a1, rook takes h7, knight takes b3, and black won the game. That was Shatanov, Garin, correspondence 1973. So if I go back to, where are we? Instead of king g1, queen e7, we're looking at queen h4. Let's go back to this line. Queen h4 is very interesting to be analysed very deeply. So I think we've got up to the bit where black castled on move 10 after king f3, black castles, and then b2, instead of black castling, you've got d5. Did we look at this? We did. King h4, e4 check, king g2, black castles, when white has several tries. So what's it saying? Queen h5, rook takes f7, rook to f4, or bishop takes d5, which I think is in Ben's featured video. Don't hold me to that though, but I'm sure it is. So with the bishop taking d5, attacking the rook, well, putting a pin on the king and the rook. Where are we? Or brackets, bishop takes d5, queen f2 check. Oh, this is the perpetual, I think. This is the line. Yeah, immediate draw. So yeah. So let's just go back. This is the one in Ben's video, this line. So queen h5, rook takes, and then this is a draw. Because queen f2, and then king h1, queen f1 is an immediate draw. So Traxler, very exciting. So let's just go back to, instead of rook takes f7, rook f4, we've done the brackets part of the page, bishop e6, a continuation, and then we've got bishop b3, knight to e5, or g6 with an unclear game. So queen h4, rook 8 to f8, right? So instead of g6 you got knight to e5, yep, and that's the unclear game. Well, it's saying it's draw here. Well, even. Tally saying, evaluation bar saying even. So let's go back to queen h5. So instead of queen h5, which was one try, this is where it said there's several tries. So we've done that paragraph, the queen h5 line, and now that was b21. He's labelled this as b2. Move 13. Instead of queen h5, we've got knight c3, d takes c4, or you've got queen takes c4, and then rook f4, good move. So, oh, I see, yeah. Okay, let's say you've gone back here. So +2 to white there. And then, so instead of queen takes, d takes c4, queen h5, and now with knight to e7, Benedict, black has good counterplay. Example, knight takes e4, bishop f5, knight f2, knight f to g5, h6, knight c3, or you got d3, knight to c3, bishop g4, attacking the queen, knight to h3. So what happens now? Oh yeah, that's, okay. So knight to h3, queen f6 check. How the hell? Hang on, let me just backpedal. So castles, instead of queen h4, we've got knight c3, d takes c4, not doing the brackets, queen h5, and now with the move knight to e7, good move, Benedict. Black has good counterplay. For example, if knight takes e4 now, right? Okay, I see. Bishop f5. Okay, this is how the books get a bit choppy change, you don't know, and you've got to be just following it to the letter. Knight f to g5, h6, knight to c3. Oh, to get out, that makes sense now, to get out of the way. I was thinking, why would you go knight c3 in that move? To get out of the way of the bishop, because in the previous line I've just done, it was pointless. Bishop g4, attacking the queen. Knight to h3. So if they took, rook takes there. Queen f6 check. But where's the check? I don't understand. Oh, is this the if we played g1? Is this why we played? So e4. move 7, move 6. Oh, is the king on G1? King to F3. Castles, rook H4. Let's look at Queen H4. Let's go back. Queen H4 is very interesting. Bear with me, guys. Bear with me. So instead of, okay, let's do that. Queen H4. G3. Queen to A, king to F3. And then B1, castles. We've done that. This is very risky, but after all, chess is only a game. We went through that line. So B2 was D5, rook H4 line, which we went through. And then white has very several tries. Okay, D5, D5, Queen H, rook H4, E4 check, King G2, castles when white has several tries. So we've done Queen H5, haven't we? We've done Queen H5. Okay. D5. White has very several tries. Queen H5. We didn't look at that. B21. Okay, B2. Let's look at this then. B2, knight C3, D takes C4. In brackets, he's got Queen takes C4, Rook H4. At 14, Queen H5, Knight to E7. E.g. Knight takes E4. Oh, okay. D takes E4. For example, Knight takes E4. Move. Oh, okay, so it's D takes C4. It's got here B2, Knight C3, question mark, exclamation mark, right? D takes E4, and then in brackets it's got Queen takes E4. So it's saying in brackets, Queen can take C4, and then Rook F4. Good move. But then, okay, what's it saying here? Does it mean this continuation of that? No, it can't. No. It's saying Knight C3. It just gave an option of not D takes C4. It gave the option of the Queen taking it in brackets. So D takes C4, which is the one line that it says. Then it says Queen H5. Okay, Queen's on H5, and now with 14, Knight to E7. Okay, Benedict in brackets. Black has good counterplay. For example, if Knight takes E4 now, yeah. Bishop F5, yeah. Knight F2 G5, yeah. H6, Knight c3, yeah. Bishop g4, yeah. Knight to h3, yeah. Where the hell is queen f6? Check. There is no check there. Queen takes g4. It's a printing error, isn't it? I hate this in books. Because how can it not knight to h3, queen to f6. Let me just see if I add another line. 1 second. If I add all the lines in Stockfish, it's a printing error. It's got in the book queen h6 with a cross, meaning there's a check, but there's no check on f6 because the king would have to be on f2, wouldn't it? But the king went to f3 from the e4 check, so I don't see how. Because the next move says queen takes g4. Well, if you're in check, you've got to move the king or block the thing. So it's a printing error. So there's a printing error on page 63. But don't let that have confuse you, because it's confused me. Do you know what I mean? So we go here, and then we do this, and then it's a draw, and then we go here, and then okay, knight takes, queen takes, up here, yeah, it's a draw. So let's go back to, so b2 was queen h, b2 was d5, b2 1 was queen h5 line after d takes c4, and then when it says white has several tries, b2 was the knight c3 that we've just gone through, and then b3, instead of knight c3, we've got, let me just take them lines off down to 1. We've got bishop b3, rook takes f7, and now if queen g1, queen e5, knight c3, and then g5, good move, rook h6, queen f5 with an attack, or move 14, instead of queen g1, oh yeah, queen, so if, or instead of queen to g1, we go queen e2, bishop e6 with an attack, but the continuation of rook f4, rook takes f4, g takes f4, g takes f4, bishop e6, knight c3 may give white an advantage. Okay, so those were the several lines from move 10, and then there was, white has several tries from move 13, there's queen h5 or knight c3, or there's bishop b3. Okay, so how complex you want to go with the traxler, it's basically, it went back to move 6. If you go back to move 6, then knight takes e4 check, king g1, queen h4, sorry, I've gone in the wrong page, let me go back, oh gosh, so e4, e5, knight f3, knight c6, bishop c4, knight g5, boom, 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 it's gone, king g1, my apologies, queen to h4, g3, knight takes g3, and then knight takes h8, D5 question mark. Queen. Queen F3. Queen D4 check. Queen E3. Knight takes H1. Bishop B5. Queen G4 check. King takes H1 and then D4. Queen E2. I'm just going through the white Smith's game quickly. And then after Queen E2, white cannot prove an advantage anymore. Queen F4, King to G1, Bishop E6, Queen H5 check, King to D7, Knight to G6, Knight to G6, H takes D6, Queen takes G6, Queen F3, Knight to A3 question mark, Bishop D5, Queen takes G7, King to D6, Knight to C4, and it's mate in 12 here. So that is the Traxler in depth up to that we've gone through up to move 15, and then I've just quickly gone through the actual game up to move 21. So this is part 1 in my Traxler Gambit videos. Okay guys, Rooks and Hooks, going through the book, and it's always recommended, always religiously, have a chessboard with you. Have a chessboard with you when you're going through a book, and possibly have 2 boards, so you know when you're going through a line you can go back to the original position and set it up, because if you're having trouble like myself sometimes understanding the book, especially if there's printing errors, then you're going to be in kinds of trouble trying to understand the book. So make sure step by step, it's not a race. Don't go racing ahead like I used to do because you miss moves, etc. Alright guys, so there's a love everybody. Look out for the video on YouTube. Calm on down.